So the previous step to measuring our center point in our 7.5 and 5 will be figuring out where you want to attach your actuator. I always try to shoot for the center. You don't want to go too low to where you're going to have water intrusion issues. We'll go off the center here for mine. And what I did is I took my level, I marked it center line of this post is where I want to be, and I've made an etch here. I made a small mark, and this is center equal with the center of my horizontal. I then took a square and made another mark over here where my bracketry will actually go. Before videoing this, I've actually already got to where I need to be, but I'm going to explain how I got there. These brackets come with a variety of options. If you're on a round pipe post, you might find yourself putting the bracket this way, or depending on your square post, this bracket can go a number of ways. And with that, you will typically chop this tube to where you need to be to accomplish the geometry recommended in the book of 7.5 and 5. Something I've found that helps me is to take a piece of cardboard out of the box and cut yourself a small square. I've put a dot here for the center point of my hinge, and I put a dot here for the center point of my bracket. With that, you want to put your first dot center of the hinge, which luckily for us, we have a grease cert right in the center, so this works out really well for being able to find your center point. So you're going to hold this center, you want to keep it 90 degrees, keep it square with the post, and then you're going to figure out, a lot of times what I'll do is take this bracket first and kind of play with it, move it around until you get where your hole lines up with those. So for me, it just happened to work out perfectly with the spacing of my hinges and this 3-inch square post, that this bracket makes the perfect combination right here. So then what I've done is, since I've decided to mount this bracket this direction, I've gone in here and etched a line at 3/4 of an inch across here. The newer brackets on the bigger actuators, you're gonna run to 2-inch. This happens to be 1.5 inches. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up my center point here with my center point on the gate bar. I will then take a level and make sure this is level horizontally that direction. And I'm gonna tack this onto the gate. And then I've also made a mark on this post here, because with my geometry, I found that that right there gives me exactly my 7.5 and 5. So we'll go on and fire up the welder and get this thing tacked on.